What's going on, everyone? Welcome to my first official video. As promised in the Edison Discord, I said I would be releasing one this week, and here you go. Hopefully this is the first of many. I will try to primarily focus on Edison, but if you know me, you know I also play Goat, Tengu, Hat, and I'll try to dabble in other retro formats as well. We'll see what happens, what gets popular, things like that. With that said, I don't want this video to be too long for the first ever, so I will just go over what I think will top Ultimate Time Wizard this weekend in Sacramento. I'll go over what I think should top, and I will go over the decks that I would consider using. So firstly, what I think will top, I do think that 2 regular Blackwing decks will top. They're becoming more and more popular in person now. I think they're relatively easy to play. They have good enough matchups across the board to justify kind of average technical play. And if you draw Whirlwind, your win rate just goes so high that it doesn't really matter how you play after turn 0. I do think that 1 Vayu Turbo will top. I think that deck shouldn't top as often as it does, but so many people use it that it is bound to top. It has a decent matchup across the board against everything. I think 1 Gladiator Beast will top. I think that 1 topped almost every Ultimate Time Wizard so far, because I think a lot of these older players who just come into the Ultimate Time Wizard just for the first time in a long time of playing Edison, they just don't know how to play against this deck and they lose to it. And the people that are playing Glads have been playing it for years, so it's they know how to play those niche matchups. I do think 1 Diva Hero Beat will top. Like I said, I do think Blackwing has risen in popularity and it has a pretty strong matchup against Blackwing. I do think 1 Amaryllis will top. I think 2 topped the prior one, so I'll give it 1 this time. It's just not consistent enough to have multiple sneak into top, but if you're drawing well and you're building well with that deck, it is a hard deck to beat. I do think 1 Hero Frog Monarch will top, as well as 1 Dream Frog. I think more Dream Frogs would top if people were playing it super well, or if people were playing it at all. I don't think enough people are playing that deck, but I do think that eventually it will pick up more speed and people start playing around a bit more and start learning the deck a bit more, because it is quite a hard deck to play. So let me just go over some of the deck choices that I would bring this weekend. So one of them is just like a regular Blackwing deck. Nothing too crazy. I do think Dark Illusion is very, very good right now. It hits a lot of super niche interactions in the Blackwing, like Circle Pump. Hits Caius against the Monarch deck. Yeah, I think it's good enough to main. I do think Oppression is probably fine right now, just the way the game state is. I think game 1 it can be fine against the Blackwing Mirror. I can't imagine playing 2 Sirocco. I know a lot of people have been doing that recently. And I have to assume it's been a typo on multiple people's deck lists, because they don't actually mean to play 2. Because there's no reason to play 2. This is the best trap card in the deck. It's probably the best trap card in Edison. It's one of the reasons to play Blackwing, is because it's an engine trap card that's actually good. Oh my god! Another deck, so this is the popular Dream Frog deck that, you know, everyone thinks the Bongo Boys only use, but yeah, it is one of my favorite decks. I think it's a really good deck, and the fun part about it is that there's no specific 55 cards that have to be played. The deck list hasn't been optimized yet, and I don't think it will be for a long time, because you can adapt this deck to so many things. That however the meta game changes, you can change this deck and however you want. I think 5 discard traps are very strong right now. Because the fact of the matter is, Substitute plus Dupe plus back row is insanely hard to deal with for any deck, really. And if that is able to stick for more than 1 or 2 turns, you're probably just so far ahead. And then you have cool niche things in the side deck like Hino Kagasuchi. I think this card is better than Vanity Fiend in the mirror in some aspects. It's a bit harder to resolve and a bit harder to summon, but unlike Vanity Fiend, you're pretty much guaranteed to win if it resolves, whereas Vanity Fiend's kind of a coin flip depending on when you drop it. They have Brain Soul. Any trap card really can out it. And then the way the mirror is going now, I think everyone's learning about this card finally. This card is so good, and I think we were talking about it in our Discord the other day, maybe last week or something like that. We were saying how long it really took people to realize how insane this card is. I'm a fire in my laser! And then we do have an Emeralds deck. I've been playing around with this deck for a while actually, and I liked it for a long time. I think it was a really fun deck. It has the highest ceiling in terms of mills. I don't think any deck can get better mills than this deck can. But that being said, you play an exorbitant amount of bricks. I think Trade-In is probably the most cope card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because in order for your Trade-In to be live, you have to be playing like 5, 6, 7 level 8s. And I think every level 8 Edison format is a brick, so you're basically adding a bunch of bricks in order to justify playing 3 Trade-In, in order to justify like having more bricks in your deck. Like all these other plant monsters are kind of shitty to draw. And so to me, this deck, if you're drawing average, is a very average deck, but if you're drawing and milling good, if you're running super hot in a day, then this deck can definitely get you a top 8 finish for sure.
All my cars, send them to the GY. All my cars, send them to the GY. And
then lastly, this is a deck that I had built during the War League playoffs. It's just AU Turbo without the Raikos, without the hamsters, without the random milling essentially, and it's more of a controlled value deck, I guess you could call it, focusing on viruses and trap cards and kind of just rather controlled than hoping to get lucky with mills. Obviously the viruses are insane. Game 1 against most decks, either of them, if you're playing any sort of frog deck, like, any of these viruses are insane. I think somebody won a 3v3 with this deck recently. So that's really cool to see that other people are playing the deck and seeing success with it. I haven't been able to enter a tournament with it yet, but I do think that if I went to Nationals, I would have played this, and I think that if I went to Sacramento, I would be playing this deck as well. I added recently this card called Doomsday Horror. I don't know if everyone's familiar with it, but it gains attack whenever there's a bunch of banished cards, and whenever it's destroyed and sent to grave, all banished darks go back to the grave. So if it gets deck devved, because it is an undefined attack, if it's deck devved from the hand, it will get destroyed and still trigger, which is kind of cool. It'll never miss timing. And yeah, so it's like another way to get back your values again, because this deck you run through your values pretty quickly, because you're basically just summoning one virtually every turn of the game and just trying to apply pressure as much as you can. Yeah, so those are the 4 decks that I would consider entering with. That's what I think will top. And good luck to everyone attending this weekend. Again, I won't be going. I don't think James, I don't think Bronte are going either. So to everyone I know who's going, good luck. You have 4 good deck lists to choose from if you guys are confused or lost about what to play. And please like, subscribe, give me ideas for what you guys want to see from more videos. I'll try to release videos a couple times a week. If you want to see replay review, that sounds good. If you guys want to see gameplay, let me know. And I'll see you on the next time. Peace, everyone.